Hello, welcome to Spotlight, energising the darkest of artless evenings.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
This evening we hear from a few of this year's recipients of the Roz Kelly bursary and how you can apply for next year's scheme. Catch up with the wonderful Violin brothers appearing at the Gaiety Theatre. And some lovely music from the Tallis Consort as they prepare for their pre-Christmas concert this year. As always, do get in touch with any creative artistic endeavours you may be involved in, planning, hoping to create, or would really like to put in the spotlight. Be they poetic, visual, theatrical, musical, literary, mime, any other art form I haven't listed. You can let me know. spotlight@manxradio.com or howardkane@manxradio.com. Do get in contact with any ideas, thoughts. If you'd like to chat about something you're doing, now is the time. Why are you waiting? The Roz Kelly bursary is awarded annually to enable 2 young musicians to separately attend the summer music school of their choice anywhere in the United Kingdom. Roz herself had been a former member of the strings in the Manx Youth Orchestra. She sang with the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic Choir. She also played French horn, very talented woman. And she left a generous bequest to allow others to enjoy playing musical instruments and participating in music the way she had. I caught up with 3 students, saxophonist Hannah Kermode and vocalists Fiona Watts and Jessie Quigley, who'd been away earlier this summer, and Andrew Cole from the Friends of the Manx Youth Orchestra, who managed the bursary awards, to hear more. And as it happens, I noticed Hannah had brought her alto sax along with her.
Roz Kelly played with the Manx Youth Orchestra, and this bursary was set up in her memory. And it's a fairly substantial fund that allows 2 students per year to go away from the island and attend a residential summer school of their choice anywhere in the UK. And it will fund their travel and their accommodation and tuition fees up to a maximum of £1,000 each. So we invite applications about this time of year, and we end just the Monday after February half term every year. So that's always the deadline. So next year it's the 27th of February 2023.
And all of you here then have actually been at the summer school this year. Yeah? What was the experience like? We'll start in the corner then. So did you have any expectations before you actually went out?
Not really. I got the bursary a couple of years ago and then had to defer for COVID. But I went this year to the Harrogate Sax School for alto sax. And it was such an invaluable experience. I was working with professors from the Royal Northern College of Music, so Rob Buckland and Carl Raven. And their teaching styles were just so advanced, and all the new information that they gave me was just a completely new take on the saxophone for me, and all the people I met there as well. It's just so great to play with so many other amazing saxophonists, young people, older people, and it was just it was a great experience, great way to meet people and develop my own playing from the professors and the other people there as well.
I'm a singer.
Singer?
So I went on a choral course at Eton College, and it was just incredible. It was run by Anna Lapwood, who I followed her on Instagram before I went, so I kind of knew what to expect from her. But
that's cunning, yeah, good idea.
She's just so much better in real life. She's just so inspiring. She's so enthusiastic, and she's just very good at her job. So we did all sorts, really. We had consort singing, full choir rehearsals. We recorded Evensong for BBC Radio 3.
Wow, excellent.
Yeah, that was very cool. And then we also went to Oxford to sing Evensong at New College for a day trip there as well. So, we had a sort of a fun song in our consort. So we did a jazz piece, Is You Is or Is You Ain't My
Excellent.
Baby.
We always like some jazz.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm a vocalist as well.
Another vocalist. Okay. And where did you go for the summer?
So I went to a course run by the same foundation as Ophelia, but it was in Cambridge in St John's. And it was run by Ralph Allwood and Sarah MacDonald. And I had a rough idea going in what to expect, because I'm a member of the Rodolphus Choir, and most of them there have all been on a course and told everyone what to expect. But we sang in various places like King's College, and it was phenomenal.
And did you sort of have any expectations again before you went? Did you think, was it better? Was it just totally different to your expectations?
I had a rough expectation of the level of music that we would be singing, and it just totally exceeded that. The experience itself, being so immersed in it with people that are so good at what they do and are at the top level, just really created that whole experience.
Andrew, just getting a taste here of what you can experience, I think, through this bursary scheme. Is this open to anyone on a rolling basis then, for people for going forward into the next few years?
It is. We have an annual deadline, as I mentioned, in February, but it's open to anyone of, between the ages of 16 and 21. They must be resident here in the Isle of Man, because the whole point is that the residential experience off island is very special, and it's something that we can't really provide at such a high level here. But it can be any genre of music. You mentioned your favourite one, which is jazz.
Absolutely.
It can be serious classical, rock, pop, folk, musical theatre. We've heard it can include voice. It could include music technology. We had one dancer went this year. What we're short of is string players, really. We don't seem to get many applications from the string playing family, and there are many very, very high quality residential courses available in the UK for them, so I'd encourage that.
Yeah. Think there's any reason for that, or just the way the cookie crumbles, as they say?
I think it's probably the latter, yes. We did have some trumpeters and trombonists this year. They're busy with A-level studies, so they can't come and talk on the radio, but so we had quite a good variety, but not string players. I'm not sure of the reason.
It's bound to be one somewhere, I guess. High spots then, guys. Any particular high spots anyone would like to pick out from their course from the year? Anyone, I don't mind.
I got to play in a quartet when I was away, and that's something that I don't do over here. I hadn't done before, and I was playing with 3 other 17-year-olds, and we were actually playing a piece written by one of the girls that was there on the course, and so that was just a really great thing to do, to be able to play a new piece that she'd written, and she was working on it whilst we played it. And like the experience to work off of each other and bounce off each other's ideas was something that was so beneficial to my own playing, helps with orchestral playing and my own like private solo playing, to be able to lead a piece but unanimously with 3 other people it was just a wonderful thing to be able to do. And the piece was obviously new and exciting, so we were all navigating it together, and it was a real challenge to do that with 3 people I'd never met, never played with, so we didn't know how each other played or interacted with that music, but it was something that was so rewarding. At the end of it, we actually made a recording of it as well, so it was great.
And is that available for or is that for private consumption?
It is on YouTube. Yeah, it's called Where Has the Lighthouse Gone?
I think just being able to sing with so many like-minded other young people. There were about 50 of us, I think, so it's not really something that I've experienced before. And everybody was just really respectful of the fact that everybody had something to learn from each other. People from all different backgrounds, but we all had this one thing in common. And you could kind of just tell how much everybody else was enjoying it and like feeding off of each other.
I found the last concert absolutely phenomenal of the week. It was kind of the high point of everyone. It was all of the hard work that we'd put in. It was all of the pieces that we'd worked on. We'd spent the week so closely together that there was so much emotion coming through at the end of the week when everyone was thinking, oh, we actually have to go home now. And then there was a second half to the concert where it was more relaxed, and it was just an enjoyment. There was no pressure. It was do whatever you'd like. And that was really special.
Clearly, I think it's been inspirational for all three of you, without a doubt, just hearing what you're saying there and seeing your faces talking about it and the clear sort of love and the pleasure you've got out of it as well. What now then for each of you, where having had this great experience through the Roz Kelly bursary and having had the experience in the summer school, where would you like to go with your musics now? Would you like to pursue more studies? Would you like to carry on? Is it something you're looking to make a full-time part of your life? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, it's definitely the pathway that I want to pursue. I'm in the middle right now of applying to conservatoires, and going to Harrogate and working with the professors from Royal Northern was such a great insight into what that pathway could open up for me, and the kind of level of playing that I'll be exposed to and the level of teaching is just something that's completely above and beyond whatever I could get now.
And what would be your dream, your ultimate goal?
Well, I would really like to play in musical theatre music. I love musical theatre. Or film music is something that I also really enjoy, but just generally a fulfilment for anything that I'm doing, continuing music, just anything that provides me with a fulfilment of that and something that I'm still enjoying later on in life. It doesn't really bother me what aspect of music I'm going into, just as long as it's still exciting for me.
What about you? Where would you like to go with your singing?
Well, the course did actually inspire me to do A-level music, and I would now like to study music at university as well. And I'm definitely going to apply for a choral scholarship at uni so I can keep singing that way. I'm not 100% sure where I'd like to go in the future, but definitely in music. I'm thinking maybe teaching, because I would like to pass on the skills that I've learnt to others.
Oh, lovely. And do you see yourself being a full-time vocalist, or do you see that's something that you would stay keeping as a hobby at a high level, or where would you like to go with it?
I'm hoping it would become a career. I'm looking at conservatoires at the moment, and also academic universities, and just to keep doing what I enjoy and explore more and push the boundaries.
And where would you put, singing style again, do you like the sort of more classical style, singing in the sort of choral situations, or something more modern? Again, we've spoken about jazz, popular, whatever.
I would say that choral and classical are definitely my comfort zone, but I've been branching out a bit more into the jazz and the musical theatre, so I'm not going to rule anything out.
So people listening to this and thinking, what, wouldn't mind a slice of that? How can they apply and get involved?
The easiest way to get the information they need is by contacting the Music Centre at St Ninian's Lower School, or you can email thefmyo@gmail.com, thefmyo@gmail.com, which is the Friends of the Manx Youth Orchestra who administer this bursary. The selection is made by a small panel of judges from the Friends of the Manx Youth Orchestra and the Music Service, usually 3 or 4 of us, in February, end of February, and we look at the criteria mentioned on the application, but the main thing we're looking for is the benefits that the student is hoping to gain from applying and attending a Roz Kelly bursary funded course.
Hannah Kermode's beautiful playing of Shrinks by Debussy. Applications now open for next year's Roz Kelly bursary. Remember, you must be between 16 and 21, resident in the Isle of Man, and be able to provide a written recommendation from a musical teacher or a mentor. Now, fans of Vivaldi, classical violin melodies, Christmas evergreens, all in for a treat on Friday, coming up very rapidly, 2nd of December, when the violin supremo brothers Vladimir and Anton Jablokov take to the stage at the Gaiety Theatre for their show 4 Seasons Explained, and a Viennese Christmas at the Gaiety. Judith Lay caught up with Vladimir to hear more about the fascinating story of how he started out, it's quite a yarn, and then how his brother came to join him.
we are 6 siblings in the family, and it was nearly obvious that all of us are going to continue with the music, and as it happens to be, 5 out of 6 did choose the professional career as musicians, but each of us did it in slightly different way. And my way was probably the most rebellious. At the age of 16 or 17, I started discovering different kinds of music. And so to speak, at that stage, I was already 3 years in the Conservatory of Music. So the secondary school after which you can only continue studying music because you don't have maths or you don't have any science and any subjects that would be required to study anything else. I started to rebel. I started to say to my parents, I'd like to explore different professions. I would like to do something else. And they all just said, no, this is the way, So what I did at the age of 19, I couldn't stand the pressure of everyone saying, no, this is your only way to go. I packed my bag and I picked the furthest destination in Europe, happened to be Ireland, and I arrived to the city center of Dublin. My research about Ireland was going as far as looking at a couple of pictures from the West Coast. And seeing that, I brought a backpack with a tent and a fishing rod. And I thought I'm going to go for some great adventure. I had not a single word of English. And you can only imagine how the scenery was different when I arrived to the Dublin city. Few days into my adventure, I was running out of money. And I didn't want to just ring my parents for help or even worse, come back and say, what, you were right, I cannot do anything else. So what did I do? I opened my violin. I didn't plan to bring it, but one of the brothers, actually, Anton, was pushing at me, just bring it in case anything. You may struggle, just have it on you. And I thought I'm going to start busking on Grafton Street, which is the most famous street in Dublin for buskers. And I'm just going to do it for a couple of days. And the rest is the history, because after a few days, starting with a very strict classical music written for a solo violin only, I started to lighten up. I just got bored because I got few quid, but I thought people only gave it to me because they were sort of sorry for me, And I just tried a couple of lighter tunes, and suddenly I could see people enjoying themselves. And I found myself enjoying myself doing it. A few months later, I started my first band. Then I started to do weddings, corporate events. Then I started promotions myself. Then I worked with different promoters. But Grafton Street gave me the courage to actually do it and to pick it as my profession and do it not because of what my parents said, but because I want to do it. And that's where I found the tunes that I can enjoy. And that's how my whole journey began. With Anton, what happened, we played a lot when we were younger back in Slovakia. Not only violin, but we also went for adventures. He was my younger sibling who was sort of, always close to me, and we went fishing together, cycling, and I was always pushing his boundaries to go faster on the bike or rollerblades or any of that, And it happened to be that we were playing together a lot, and he was also one of the first ones I, called for a few gigs while he was studying in Germany and Switzerland. Whenever he was free, he was traveling to Ireland, just make few quid as a student. And then from about 2012, we started to perform together the headline concerts. And that was a real coincidence because I always was the headline, and he just came as, sort of a leader of the ensemble behind me or just as a part of the orchestra. And there was one concert where my string broke, one of the violin strings broke, and I had to go backstage to change it. And Anton was sitting there, and he just thought, I'm not going to stay here in silence. So he just looked at the piano player and say, let's play. And it was something from the light repertoire by Mary Hopkins. Those were the days.
Yes.
And when I came back to the hall after I had my string back on, I could see the audience actually standing and clapping. So I said, okay, I think we should go and do the show together. There is no point of always calling Anton the younger brother.
Great stuff. And the show is on at the Gaiety Theatre Friday the 2nd, 8 p.m. start. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
Finally, Christmas is definitely coming. Oh, yes, it is. And one of the many treats not to be missed, if you can, is one of the all too few performances of the wonderful Tallis Consort, founded some 30 years ago to bring an eclectic mix of early music from the medieval to the 17th century to the island music scene. Typically, I'm going to miss their concert at St Mary's Church in Douglas this year. 7:30 p.m. it is on the 5th of December. So to make up for it, I'm going to play you some of the Tallis so you can hear just how good they are and how accessible the music is for everyone. That's about it for this week. Don't forget, if you want to hear anything again, go to manxradio.com, download the Spotlight podcast, listen wherever you want. Why not try it whilst running round a reservoir? It's that time of year, it's mild enough, you need the exercise. We'll be back next week when we will indeed be talking to the daughter of Watership Down author Richard Adams, now an island resident, about the continuing legacy of his work. Until then, mind how you go, stay creative. Cheerio.